hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Fatima and I'm going to take you through my bookshelf. So behind me I have my bookshelves as they stand now. They are subject to change because I still want to add like trinkets and lamps and stuff like that, but I'll take you through a tour of how it looks right now, and then as it changes maybe I'll do updated tours and stuff. Here is an overview of my shelves. I do have more books right there, but I'm thinking of giving those ones away. But here is an overview of my shelves. I know, beautiful. Okay. So the top row, how I organize it, most of the top row is middle grade and then it transitions into YA fantasy. But from here we have my middle grade stuff. Okay. And then I have more YA fantasy, more this is like YA sci-fi, okay, and then dystopian, and then I get into mangas, and then more YA fantasy down there that I'm just like not a huge fan of anymore, and then other stuff which I'll take you through. Here I have YA fantasy, and then I have adult fantasy. These tend to be some of my favorites. These tend to be some of my favorites. And then here I have more adult fantasy, and then a little bit of sci-fi, and then down here I have adult lit, so things like poetry, education types of books, essays, whatever, memoir, etc. And then here, this pile right there, that's fan fiction. And then down here I have my graphic novels. And then down there I have my tarot card collection and then some puzzles. So starting at the very top here, on the first shelf, starting at the top, I have here my Harry Potter series. It is unfortunate that J.K. Rowling is transphobic, so ew, but the world is still loved. I still really enjoy Harry Potter, though I do not enjoy J.K. Rowling. And then I have my Percy Jackson series, and then the Magnus Chase ones. I read the first one. I haven't read the next two. I think it's not my age range anymore, so it doesn't appeal to me as much anymore, but this was given to me by a friend. And then I have my more of the middle grade stuff here. This I got when I was like in grade 4, and I love her writing because it's so fun and whimsical. This series right here, the Tales from the Odyssey, and then by Mary Pope Osborne. She's the one who wrote the Magic Treehouse stuff. But this book here is one of my this series was like what really made me love a lot of reading as well. So when I was a kid and I read this in elementary school, I think you were only allowed to take out like 2 books at a time, and then every day I took out 2 books. I finished them in that same day, and then I get the next 2 books. I finished that in the same day, etc. And I loved this series. It was my favorite when I was in elementary school. Here, Clockwork Angel stuff. I loved this when I was in high school, though again, she tends to write the exact same things over and over again, which is fine. That's fun and all, but you know, maybe not my style anymore because I haven't really read it. I haven't read this one, but I did read all of these ones. And then Shadow and Bone. Okay, I loved Six of Crow. I love this duology of love because it has so many tropes that I love. So like found family, a whole bunch of different storylines, etc. But this, I tried reading Shadow and Bone, like the first book of Shadow and Bone, and it's just so like the main character is such a pick-me, and I hate that. And I don't think I'm going to enjoy this series at all because I only read a little bit of that first book and I did not enjoy it. So, I'm on the fence about keeping this, but it is pretty on my shelves, so we'll see. Down on here, so I think I'm just going to take you down this way, and then I'll go back to this shelf and then take you down that way. And then here, I have my YA fantasies. So this has a lot of my favorites on it. This book right here, this was given to me by my grade 5 teacher, and she even wrote a little note on it for me. But this was my grade 5 teacher's thing because she noticed I was a reader, and so she gave me a challenging book for grade 5. This was given to me by my baby brother. This one I stole off my older brother's shelf. This series right here, this also really, really made me love reading fantasy. This book right here is, I think, what really kickstarted my love for like urban fantasy stuff when I had that whole phase with, there. But This I loved, and I still love it to this day. I reread this book, like this series, maybe a couple years ago. And when I first started rereading it, I was like, oh no, this is cringe. I don't think I'm gonna like it. But then after a few chapters, I was like, oh, wait, I remember why I love this book so much, and I still love it to this day. So one of my favorite series. The second book is missing. I did order it online, so it is coming still. But yeah, I don't really mind that they're different heights or whatever. But yeah. This one is also a really great series, Angel Falls, like basically an angel apocalypse. Love this series as well, Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. Love this series. I generally don't like naive characters, but the main character here made it work, and I loved it. I love a little fairy tale. Fairy tales and cozy fantasies are like my favorite genre. Here, Cruel Prince, love it. Okay, again, a little fairy tale-esque, you know what I mean? Love it. Though the ending maybe... Yeah, I'm not going to give spoilers or anything. But here, these were in the next two books, and it takes the tropes that are in YA fantasy and then twists it on their head. So it's very, it like takes a main character that's not super beautiful and is rough, etc. But I really enjoyed this series as well. I enjoyed this book. I haven't read this one yet, but I really love this first one. And I really like the sixth one in this series. And then these two I haven't read yet. This one, I only took... This, I'm not opposed to just getting the favorite book of a series. This was my favorite book in the series, but actually now that I'm older, I don't know if I really like it all that much. I don't remember much of it. This one was meh. I didn't really enjoy it. This one I thought was gonna make me cry, but it didn't. Oh, and I have a Polaroid up here. There's my Polaroid. It does have one film and it still works. I got off Facebook Marketplace and I love it. Down here, these three books I got from my older brother in a Christmas one time. I haven't read them yet, but intriguing. Fake Plant. This series is cute, but meh. This one I haven't read, but it got all crinkly in my move, so there's that. But I heard good things about it. One of my favorite series when I was in high school. I loved this series because, again, I love a good retelling. I love a fairy tale type of book. I'm not a huge sci-fi person, so that's why I don't have a lot of sci-fi comparatively to my fantasy stuff. And then here, I enjoyed the second book a lot. And then here, this one was meh. Enjoyed this. And I remember I read all three of this like the weekend before I went to watch the movie because the movie was coming out. And I didn't want spoilers, so I read all three books in a weekend. And then I went on like the Monday to watch the movie or Tuesday to watch a movie for that. Down on this row, I have One Piece. I love One Piece. It's like my favorite anime. And then this was from one of my favorite arcs, Dressrosa arc. And then here, I have a bunch of myths and fairy tales because I love those. So I have a bunch of myths and fairy tale books here. And then science because I'm a science teacher. So it's like fairy tales with a science twist to them. Down here, I have My Hero Academia books. And then this is one of my favorite mangas and animes as well. Love this. This trinket right here. This is from my one of my best friends. We've been friends since elementary school. And then here's Kuroko no Basket because that's also one of my favorite animes. This is Attack on Titan because I'm thinking of giving it to my sister because that's one of her favorite animes. But it stays there for now. Down here, I'm gonna take you down. Down here, I have a bunch of like miscellaneous stuff. So here on this side, I have a bunch of photo albums. These are just like literally photo albums of my friends, etc. This is a music album that I got as a gift. This is just a journal. And then here are a bunch of YA fantasies that just doesn't do it for me anymore. I just don't care for it. I never liked A Court of Thorns and Roses, but I did buy these two books together. And so I thought I was going to really love it because it's so popular. So I was like, I'm going to love this book. But I ended up not enjoying it. I thought everything tied up too nice and neatly. And it's just... But I love a good, like, smutty fairy romance, but it's just, that was not it. And the girl was, like, not like other girls, you know? And then here, again, these are YA fantasies that just don't do it for me. This one, maybe. I'm drawn to this one still, but eh. On this side, I have a bunch of, like, essays and things from university, as well as yearbooks. These are, like, the textbooks that I kept because I still really enjoyed it. This one is because I teach biology, so I was like, okay, maybe I'll still need this, but it's not my favorite book. I love my anatomy one. I love my invertebrates class one, so this is all for invertebrates class. And then here is from my philosophy class. This is also from my philosophy class. I printed out all the essays from it and like all my notes, and I loved it because it's one of my favorite classes that I've ever taken, my philosophy of religion. And then here I have a bunch of my yearbooks. So I have one from university because I was in a cappella, and we did an a cappella one right here. I was in UBC a cappella. And then I have my high school one from grade 12 because I didn't collect all of them. I only got my grade 12 one. And then I also have my elementary school one. Yeah, and again, more textbook stuff. So there's that row. Going back up to the second row here. Here's the second row. This contains some of my like favorite adult fantasy books and adult books as well. This one was YA, and so it should be on the YA shelf, but I didn't have room there, so it's living here. I still really enjoy this. It's like fluffy fan fiction. Half a Soul loved it, loved it, loved it. This is all adult fantasy. Cozy fantasy, again, are some of my favorites. This one, with hindsight, it's not as favorite as these ones, but still. This one I think is actually YA, but I don't know. But I really enjoyed these ones. Love these ones as well. Galatea as well, by the same author. Love this. I haven't read this one yet. I haven't read this one yet. These books right here, they're messed up, but I love them. Still my favorites. Dune one, this is my sci-fi collection right here. Love these two books. Man Called Louie, loved it, cried. Not because it was sad or anything, but because I had a lot of emotions reading it. One of my favorite books as well. This one really is really impactful. I love this one a lot as well. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I love Taylor Jenkins Reid's writing, but I don't have a lot of her books. I've only read 2 of her books. This is one of them, and I loved it. Her writing is phenomenal. Her characterizations are phenomenal. She does a really good job of like humanizing a lot of the characters. Johnny Appleseed was a good one. This one I read when I was like younger. I want to say university though. And then here was a present from someone in a cappella. Okay. Here is my adult fantasy shelf. More adult fantasy. I want to like this books. I haven't read them yet. I got this far into it, as you can see where my bookmark is. Ooh, my bookmark is right there. I only got that far into my book. And it's just really intense, and I need to be in the right headspace to be able to consume this book. It's just, I'm not there yet, even though these have been on my shelf for a while. I got this when it was like on sale or something, so that was a good deal when I got it. Read The Wheel of Time. They're kind of boring, to be honest. I'm just not a huge... I have the reviews up. It was good, but it's kind of boring. Here, Fellowship of the Ring, I only read the first part of it. I haven't read the 2 because this one I read when I was in high school in grade 12 because that was our novel study book. Here, more books that I read. This one, Robin Hobb, this one is in French because I speak French, and I went to Quebec for an immersion program because I thought I might teach French, but I ended up just teaching science because I wanted to teach science, but in case I need to teach science in French, I went to that immersion program, and I have this book. I only got it because Robin Hobb was on the title, but I haven't read a Robin Hobb book, so on the list to read. This right here is from one of my students as a little present. Haven't read these ones, but I heard really good things. Really enjoyed this book. Enjoyed the first book. I don't remember what happens in the second book. I don't know if I read the second book. Heard good things. This one I got purely because the title, like the cover looked so cute. So I haven't like actually have anything on my shelf that shows a title cover. So maybe I'll do that when I get more space. Down on this shelf here, I have my adult lit stuff. Okay. Here is just a bunch of like brochures that I got when I was in Quebec. And then Braiding Sweetgrass, love this book. I have a lot of education books here. So this is about totem poles. This is about walking curriculum. So doing outdoor activities. Braiding Sweetgrass, I love this book a lot, so much. This was when I got this when I was like in grade 10, and it's basically like a little self-help book in case students need stuff. So I just kept that because I thought it might be nice. Word Slut right here. Feminist stuff. This is from my university literature class. I really enjoyed Bartleby the Scrivener. This one maybe is in the wrong place, but Perks of Being a Wallflower, I just categorized it there because it made me depressed. This one I haven't read yet. I stole this off my older brother's book shelf. Again, from my adult lit class. This one's from my French literature class, Les Lettres Chinois. It was an interesting read. Halsey's poetry book, Emily Dickinson poetry, more poetry that I've never read, art book, Dan Brown. I got this as a present from my cousin. I let my mom borrow it one time, and she dropped it on the ground, so it's like all muddy. And I went through every single page to kind of like, you know, soak up any of the mud. And then this is my romance section right here. My adult romance, book lovers, Pride and Prejudice. I read quite a bit of romance, but I've never had a romance book that I've like swept me off my feet, that I've like absolutely adored and loved. I watched Pride and Prejudice. I haven't read it yet, but I watched Pride and Prejudice and I loved it. These books here, these are all fan fiction right here. And then this is an art book that I got at the thrift store. But this is fan fiction that I bookbound myself. I had a whole phase, clearly. And this is like the very first comic I've ever made when I was like really young. Down here I have my comics and my graphic novels, because on that side I have the mangas. But here I have the graphic novels. Here's the Bone series. I love this when I was younger. That's just a candle. I'll never light it on the bookshelves. Here, graphic novels. I haven't read this yet. These were okay. This one is from one of my favorite Netflix shows. If I can pull it out, Dead India. It's unfortunately that they canceled it. Netflix always cancels like amazing shows, but really enjoyed that series. I watched it with my siblings. And then here is all of my Avatar The Last Airbender comics. I love Avatar The Last Airbender It's like my favorite series of all time. And I have a whole haul of this, so you can watch that video if you would like to go more in depth about these books. And then I have Avatar Yang Chen, and then I have Saga, and then I have The Adventure Zone. This is a D&D play podcast by the McElroy family, and I really, really loved the podcast. So just to commemorate, I have the graphic novels. And then down here at this shelf here, I have puzzles. That's just like some notebooks. And then here, all of this is all of my tarot collection. I love tarot cards a lot. I love, it's just kind of fun, you know? So there's that. The ones that I gravitate the most to are the ones that are near, like easy to reach. So I can take this out really quickly. I can take that out really quickly. I can take these out really quickly. So that's my favorite one. The books over here, these are books that I think I'm either going to take to my classroom for my students. Because Subasa, this was one of my friends from high school. She really enjoyed this series. So I'm thinking of giving it to her. And then I have just some board games over there that I got from the thrift store. But yeah, so these are just books that I'm not interested in as much. And so I think I'm going to bring them to my classroom because a lot of them are YA or middle grade. So there's that. Anyways, that was my bookshelf tour. Yeah, initially I was supposed to go with like shelving on brackets instead of the Billy bookcases, but the shelving on brackets one, I was just really nervous that it wouldn't be able to hold all of the weight of the books unless I get like really like thick shelving, but then the cost would go up a lot. So this seemed to be the most cost effective using the Billy bookcases. This is the Billy bookcases with walnut. This seemed to be the most cost effective way to get my books up, a lot of books up, and have it stay secure on the shelves. And then also I can still put extensions up there, because that is the plan, to put extensions up there as well. But yeah, and I want to, you know, make it cute. It is cute already, but I do want to add like more trinkets and stuff, but there is that. So this is my bookshelf. I really love my bookshelves. I love staring at them. I sleep right across from my bookshelves so I can see them every day when I wake up. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you have a good day / night whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.